The First Omen is directed by Arkasha Stevenson and stars Nell Tiger.
This church has maintained power for thousands of years. They will stop at nothing to keep it that way.
I had no clue about anything going into this movie. I have not watched the original The Omen movie from 1980, 70 something 4. I'm not sure which one, but I have not seen any of the previous Omen films. This was my first introduction to it, and boy, was it a wild ride. I really enjoyed this one. So let's get into it and talk about it. I don't particularly like horror films. I'm a big fan of genre filmmaking, but not a big fan of like horror movies per se. Like I don't go out oftentimes and watch horror films. Like I'm not a big fan of slasher films, but when a movie is good and I hear it's good, I will be there to see it. And I'm so glad to report this one's actually really good and fun. First and foremost, I think the thing that works the absolute best in this movie is Nell Tiger. She is absolutely fantastic. Like think Toni Collette fantastic. Toni Collette's a little bit better, but Nell Tiger is doing some really great things in this movie. Currently, she's my favorite performance of the year. Really liked her. There is a moment in this movie where she's asked to do a thing, and you'll know if you see this movie what thing I'm referring to, and you're like, what? Like it's incredible. Like no CGI usage to my understanding, clearly just acting, and she knocks it out of the park. The other thing about this movie that I think really works is the directing from Arkasha. Oh my gosh. I loved the environment of this movie, the atmosphere of this movie. If you don't buy into the atmosphere of this movie, it doesn't work as well, in my opinion. And I think that's the part that makes this movie work the best. See, when I go to see a horror movie, I want something where I am like the environment is scary, not necessarily the jump scares or anything like that. And I think the thing that this movie specifically pulls off is that it's the dread that is scary. The thing that you know is coming, it is scary. And I think when you're able to lean into that, and this movie does that, it really works. I think the thing about this movie specifically that really keeps me my interest at an all-time high is the subject matter. It's about a church in Rome, and they're trying to do a thing, and you're not sure who to trust. And you like your vehicle in that is Nell Tiger's character of Margaret. And she's battling these internal themes of, do I trust the church? Do I trust this person that I thought I could trust? Do I trust my own sanity? And all of those things really work in this movie, especially when they dive into the not so political nature of the church, but there's elements of the church where there's hierarchy. And I find that stuff really, really interesting and intriguing. And this movie plays with those things really well. Now, I will say on the opposite side of that, I think there are questions that I would have liked to explore a little bit more that the movie wasn't as interested in exploring. And so that kind of sucks, but ultimately, I really love this movie. I don't know that I will ever watch it again. There's definitely some disturbing things in this movie, but I'm so glad that I had time to go watch it in a theater. Now, the one thing that I think was the most interesting and the best thing about this movie is my theater experience. I was the only person in the movie theater watching this thing. And I hope I will get another opportunity like that in the future with some other movie as good as this, because holy smokes was it haunting just to be the only one in this theater. I pray you get something like that because it was a really, really great experience. The atmosphere that Arkasha is able to produce, and you just feel really immersed in the 1970s. It borderline feels like it was made in the 1970s. It really has that magic of it, the magic of that original horror film, right? That wasn't just jump scares and actually intended to have you horrified by the end of this movie. And I wouldn't say terrified in today's context is the same thing as that, but I'm happy to admit that this movie absolutely is haunting, and that's what I wanted it to be. And I wanted this movie to be good, and I wanted it to be haunting and something I think about, and it is. So with all that being said, let me know if you have seen the movie. What did you think? And if not, let me know what your expectations are in the comments. And please, if you don't mind, like, subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and I would really appreciate it. Anyhow, I will see you guys next time. Adios.